2017, this ex-national security advisor pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI. Suzanne.
Is this Kelly?
No. Steve. Who is Gorka? No. It was Michael Flynn.
The President of the United States is his DOJ and his FBI. And at some point here, he needs to get involved.
Holding them accountable. Sean gets the answers no one else does. Freedom is back in style. Welcome to the revolution. Overload.
If they don't give you that information, what can you do to the FBI and DOJ? You've given them more deadlines. Now, we had yesterday they were supposed to give us stuff. Now, maybe Monday or Tuesday. This investigation's been going on for a year. At some point, don't you guys feel impotent?
Well, look, there's a couple things here. So before July 31st, for a couple months now, we've been really zeroing in on that. And the FBI and DOJ have had plenty of opportunities to tell us what happened before July 31st.
But they haven't.
They have not.
Right.
They have not. Now, ultimately here, the President of the United States is his DOJ and his FBI. And at some point here, he needs to get involved. I don't know. The FISA is very frustrating to me because I think that pieces of the FISA that was gone on Carter Page, right? That, we've had an ongoing feud about this for many, many months. I think the FISA is totally fraudulent, 100% fraudulent. You have James Comey and others that currently at the FBI and DOJ who are defending the FISA, which is unbelievable to me. So why not? The president ought to just solve this once and for all. Declassify. You don't have to expose sources and methods, but most of that FISA, the pertinent parts of it, could be declassified, and he can help answer for all of us who was telling the truth. Or were they justified to get a FISA warrant on Carter Page or not? I don't think they were, and I think the American people have a right to know, and the president should declassify.
All right, News Roundup and Information Overload Hour, 800-941-SEAN. That was Devin Nunes of the House Intel Committee on with Judge Jeanine on Saturday night, saying, 42 people now involved with the Russia probe. They should be interviewed in public. Also, at some point, the president's going to have to get involved and demand that the DOJ, which he has full authority to do, release all of these documents. And once he puts that deadline out, they will not have an option at that point, or they will be literally defying the president who has authority. We're talking about the executive branch now. And lastly, it's Nunes talking about the president needing to declassify the FISA documents, which would give us great insight as to how they justified an unverified, uncorroborated political document using Russian sources that was paid for. Even the person that put it together says was 50-50 at best, ended up being the basis or the bulk of information to get a warrant to spy on an opposition party candidate in the lead up to an election. It all matters. All right, glad you're with us. 800-941-SEAN is our number. We're still following the president at 9:01:30 tonight, right when Hannity gets on the air. We'll announce his Supreme Court justice to replace Anthony Kennedy. I'm not going to go with all the speculation, with all the people. This one's chosen out because the president has diverted the last time. And I think it still comes down to the 5 candidates that I've been talking about, well, pretty much all day, and that's Amy Coney Barrett and Thomas Hardiman, Brett Kavanaugh, Raymond Kethledge, and Judge Joan Larson. But first we continue. The deep state issue is going to hit a lot of new ground this week as both Lisa Page and Peter Strzok testify, publicly, well, in the case of Lisa Page behind closed doors, but Strzok publicly for the first time. And then, of course, we have the president with NATO, as I mentioned, and we're going to be doing the show from Europe later in the week, and the expected protests there. We have a busy news week. Joining us, Greg Jarrett. We are now 2 weeks away from the release of the Russia hoax, the illicit scheme to clear Hillary Clinton and frame Donald Trump. By the way, available for pre-sale on Amazon.com. This will become the definitive book on what is the biggest corruption, abuse of power scandal in history. Sarah Carter is an investigative reporter, Fox News contributor. All right, so we have a new poll that shows a majority of Americans, Sarah, no longer support the Mueller probe. We have new FBI MO suggesting that Mueller may have illegally leaked grand jury material. That's in reference to the Manafort case. We have Giuliani saying he suspects Mueller is covering up anti-Trump text messages that have been sent by his prosecution team. And Giuliani calling the Mueller probe the most corrupt investigation he's ever seen. And now we have 42 people, as we just heard from Devin Nunes, that need to go before the public and make some explanations. This case is just beginning.
It is, and remember, this has been going on for more than a year. This is incredible, Sean. I think one of the biggest things that we're going to be looking for this week is certainly Peter Strzok testifying publicly. He may not say anything. He may say very little, but I think it's very important to have him out there. I also think that Devin Nunes is doing the right thing. He's putting out the names out there that he says need to go public. The American people are so tired of this, because I think based on just the last year, based on the information that has come out, Americans are smart. We understand what's going on here, and that's the reason why we haven't stopped going after these stories, the reason we haven't stopped exposing what we see as blatant corruption and evidence that they were actually working against an incoming president and then a duly elected president of the United States. It's actually quite incredible. And I think what Nunes is doing is saying, look, put everybody out there, let them speak publicly. And if they're not going to abide by our demands, did the FISA. Go ahead, Mr. President, release all the documents. Let's get that out there so the American public knows once and for all what's going on. This has been going on too long. And like Devin Nunes said, this is the president's job. He is oversight over the DOJ. And if the DOJ is not going to comply, if Rod Rosenstein, if Robert Mueller, if all of these people, if Attorney General Jeff Sessions does not comply with the oversight demands of Congress, then the president has the authority to declassify that, and we have the right to see it.
Let me go to Greg Jarrett. By the way, you're 2 weeks away. I've read the book now in total. It is the defining read on, and the title captures everything, the Russia hoax, the illicit scheme to clear Hillary Clinton and frame Donald Trump. There is so much coming out with the testimony now. Lisa Page behind closed doors. Peter Strzok publicly, although I hear there's maybe some wavering going on behind the scenes, but the title captures exactly what happened.
It's true. Top officials, the highest levels of government, the Department of Justice and the FBI, worked together. They colluded to twist the law and make up facts and exonerate Hillary Clinton, even though she clearly violated multiple federal statutes. And then on the very same day they cleared her, the FBI is meeting in London for the first time with the author of the dossier. And the FBI and the DOJ were off to the races to try to frame Donald Trump for things he did not do. And the dossier was the linchpin. It was phony. It was fabricated from the beginning.
On page 100 to 103, I think this is going to turn out to be key. Did Brennan at the CIA, they never verified or corroborated this and used it as the bulk of information for the dossier, but was Brennan passing this out to be used as political fodder in his role as a CIA director at the time in, the summer leading up to, of course, the FISA warrant?
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
You write about it in the book.
Page 100, it begins, Brennan is the instigator. He gets his hands early on this phony dossier, and he decides this is what we can use to destroy Trump. So he's running all over Capitol Hill, and in particular, he goes over to Harry Reid's office on August 25th. And I believe he shows Reid this document and convinces Reid.
Now, we've heard that we have the exact proof on it because we've been hearing about this from the beginning.
We know Reid leaked to the media a letter he sent to Comey on August 27, 2016. And in it, he alleges Trump is colluding with Russia. And he's asking Comey to investigate Trump. Now, look, Reid already knew that the FBI had launched an investigation of Trump, but he wanted it to get leaked out to the media to destroy